Hello, hello. I was on the wrong link, so sorry about that, people. I get too many links going on. Oh my gosh, we got a full house today. Pretty awesome. Okay. Hello, hello. I love this.
Hello.
Hey, Jen. So I want to start out today. Oh, sorry. Let me turn down my scanner. I haven't done my body scan today and I was doing it and it makes noise. Um, I would like for everybody to go around the room. I want you to introduce yourself, say what you do in the world, and I want one win that you've had, and then we're going to get into it today. So, who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lisa.
Uh-huh. So I'm Lisa McLeod. I own a health and wellness coaching business, Her Wellness Coaching. I help women um, really simplify health and wellness for women who are overwhelmed by all the information out there and really live their best life. My one big win this week, I would say, would be I've been reaching out to people and connecting with people that I haven't connected with for a while, and had lunch with a woman yesterday who was out at the garden, retired in July. So it was really fun to talk to her.
Good, good, good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pass it on.
And she's starting her own business too.
Fantastic. I pay a 10% commission, just saying. Okay, pass it on.
Okay, Chris is next on my screen.
Perfect. Hey, Chris.
She knows me. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Chris Stevens. I'm president of Uncle Dad's Salad Dressing Dips and Seasons. We make the best ranch ever. And let me see. It's hard for a win for last week. I don't know if I really had anything happen that was much of a win, but we're just going through our motions right now, trying to find a new building. We think we found a new building maybe yesterday to move into, but it's going to be a little bit of a struggle because of the rate. But yeah. So finding a building in this market for our needs that has our requirements, I guess that's a win.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Chris. Pass it on.
I will pass it off to Tara.
Can you hear me?
I can. Tara got a new hairdo. It looks cute.
I just got it done today, so it'll never look like this again. But my name is Tara Schneider, owner of Esoterra Wellness, also a wellness coach. And I also do hands-on fascia blasting, aromatouch therapy, essential oils. And a win for me, let's see, I also reached out and got some former clients, people I hadn't seen in a long time. One came in as a client last Friday. She was very excited, and she's coming back this Friday. So that's going well. Yeah, and I'm editing a guidebook to my program.
Fabulous. Pass
Thank
it
you.
on.
Okay, Jen.
Hello, I'm Jen in Coeur d'Alene, and I'm a cabbie stylist, and I help women elevate their vibration by looking fabulous in great clothes. And my win is that I've booked 8 shows this fall with new women in the community that I didn't know before my spring season. And a couple of my hostesses are in my very neighborhood. So through my business, I'm able to make connections and meet more people. So it's really exciting for me.
Jen, that's fantastic. Way to go. And I love how you were like, hey, I help them with the vibration, right? Like we're going to raise that vibration. Good job. Okay, pass it on. We have Linda or Tatina.
All right. I think Linda's ready.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I am so ready. My name is Linda Larson. I'm a director and owner of North Idaho Neurotherapy, where we do quantitative EEG brain maps, and also we do counseling and helping our clients have a balanced brain, thus a more balanced life. And a win for me is I had a loan go through that I'm very happy about, and so I've got that it wasn't adding new debt, it was just reducing the interest rates.
Nice.
That was a big win, so I'm very happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, Tatina, bring us home, girl.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tatina, and I am a shamanic practitioner, coach, artist, creative, and I work one-on-one as well as in groups and teach the principles that empower people to not only clear that which is blocking them from their most expressed lives, but really help them to find that unshakable part of themselves. I actually the business name that I've kind of come up with has been Unshakable Soul Clarity. Uh, I'm at a time of upgrading in my business, and a couple of wins. One of them reflective, which is funny. I just signed on with a financial advisor, and who usually only take clients with 250,000 plus in investments, and they're treating me like a 250,000 plus investor, even though I'm much less. But it feels like it's just, it's just the gap. So it's that's kind of fun. And also on based on a referral, I had a new client sign on, and then there was another client who is going to be again scheduling with me, absolutely based on the fact that I planted the seeds by calling earlier and asking her how she was. So so little pieces like that. So
Good.
the momentum feels good. I feel pretty inspired with everything, and there's a whole lot more, mental
Yeah.
background stuff that's been going on behind the scenes that I feel has been contributing. So lots of wins.
Awesome. Thank you. And I love that when you guys are talking about this connection, because then Tatina, you're giving inspiration to Lisa, who keeps calling people just to kind of like check in on people. And eventually it'll talk about what she does in her business and seeing the fruits of that. Right. So, yay. Okay. So I want everybody to just humor me for a second. I'm not going to put on the 30-second dance party thing because that 30 seconds feels a whole lot more than 30 seconds. But I want everybody to stand up and we're going to do a happy. Oh, God. I'm so sorry, Maverick. I'm so sorry. I just rolled right over him.
Don't hurt my puppy.
Here, I cut his balls off on Friday and then oh God, sorry. Okay, everybody
Oh,
do
Debbie,
happy
Debbie.
dance. Woohoo! We're gonna celebrate. We need some music, but okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Betty. I didn't mean to roll over you. Thank you, because I find that we like high achieving people don't take time to celebrate. Right. And every single one of the things that you guys talked about, they're big. And all of you quantified it a little bit like, well, I don't know, this was this or that. Like, it's just a freaking celebration, right? Like, these are wins because how you continue to attract the business to you is by vibrating at that high vibration, right? When we diminish our wins, guess what happens to our vibration? Right? It doesn't go down here, but it's like it could be here and we're going, now, don't beat yourselves up about it, but just keep aware of that, right? Now, one of the things too is I need an intervention because some of you know this about me and others don't. I have an entire bookshelf full of oracle cards. So I think I could probably start selling them because I have so many of them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to create my own, to be honest with you. So I bought this new deck for my VIP day that I flew out to Connecticut, flew back like all within like 2 days, basically. And so I pulled one for the collective when we started the call. And I just wanted to share it. It's called Heed the Messengers. And each of you will have a different kind of message from this. But basically, it says it's easy to ignore the messages and the signs that are shown to us, especially when they bring a message we don't wish to hear. But now is not the time to ignore the messengers or the message. Do not let your fear of change or discomfort silence those voices. It is time for you to stop procrastinating, to see and to hear the truth and do what is necessary. Heed the messengers, for the wisdom they offer is born of your own intuition and need. So, before I dig into our questions for today, anyone have a hit that was like, oh yeah, I need to listen to that, or I have been listening and here's the great thing about it? Yeah, Tatina.
Without going into story, Debbie knows a little bit of the story. Put it this way, my ex-husband has been requesting a bunch of money from me. At first, my reaction was, talk to the hand. But the message behind it for me is taking the emotion out of it has been, he's actually giving me a vote of confidence for me stepping into more abundance, really. Uh, and so as you were reading, Debbie, the stop procrastinating kind of hit me in the face. So.
Yeah. And great reframe, right? Because that's where, when I talk about reframing things into gratitude, right? When we can look at, here's a situation where, like without getting into her story, she told you what was happening, that she could stay in that, right? Versus, oh, this is really a way that he is expressing that I'm in abundance, right? That's the whole shift in gratitude. Awesome. Anybody else have one that they want to share before we move on? Okay. I need for you to get a piece of paper and a pen, please. This is going to be a little bit of a working one. And I'm not opposed to digital, but I think there's something about like getting it out of the body this way versus like this, right? So, okay. So I'm gonna ask these questions, and then I want to open it up for some discussion, and then I'm going to give you some ideas and some thoughts about this as well. So I want you to ask yourself and take a few minutes, because the work that we're doing here, right, to have inspired action, this is all spiritual work. Like our whole body, right? Like our mind is the essence of who we are. We have a thinking capacity. Our heart space has a thinking capacity. Our body thinks for us. It tells us a lot of different things. And that soul work too, that's there, all creates this essence of who we are. And so when you think about that, I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing every day to ground and center? Now, before you answer that question, I've been to a ton of different workshops and seminars, and they're like, oh, just get up 30 minutes earlier to meditate or do that. Well, that's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that, because I don't know about you all, but like I don't care if you're male or female, we get to a certain age, sleep is a commodity, right? Like between the dog waking us up, noises outside, whatever. And so I'm calling BS on that. So this isn't something to add to your plate. It could be as you're at the stoplight. It could be as you're standing in line, right? Like whatever it is, I want you to think about, what do you do every day? And again, when I say every day, it could be 5 out of 7 days. But what do you do to ground and center yourself on a consistent, like it's a practice for you, so you can tap in spiritually? Could be skiing on Mondays and Fridays in the winter. It could be, right? Like I want you to just think about, what is it that fills that energy bucket for you? And then I want you to ask yourself, is there something, don't create it if it's not there, but have you been having any kind of nudge to maybe do something that you haven't been doing? Right? It could be journaling, it could be pulling a card, it could be going for a walk, whatever it is that you've been maybe feeling a nudge about that would help you ground and center. And now I'm just going to open it up, and feel free to take yourself off of mute unless you have like a dog running around or have a bunch of noise in the background, because it's just easier with a generative conversation if we're not pausing, right? Because sometimes you want to speak and it doesn't always allow you to do that. But what are some things that you all do to ground and center? Yeah, go for it, Tatiana.
Yeah. So upon waking up in bed, before I even get up, because have I can have slightly Eeyore tendencies of, dread for the day. And so I flip that right away. I just open myself and gut and just, what could happen. So to possibilities. So that's one thing. The second thing I do is, while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew, I do, I do a series of salute to the sun exercises and some it's like some tapping on meridians, and that really helps to put me in my body and energized. And I'll literally go outside and put my feet on the earth, the grass. I'll do that too.
Nice.
Yeah. And then a nudge to do something would be automatic writing, to take a specific time of the day and do some automatic writing
Great.
to really connect.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm gonna go back to that second question here after a bit. Like I want you to share that too, but I want to arc back to that after some other people have shared. Tara, I think you had your hand up. What are some things you do to ground and center?
Okay, I have a gratitude practice where I try to do it at night, but if I don't, then I catch up the next morning. And then I have the abundance practice where I go through the book that you gave me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm still doing that. And then when my dog has been sick for a couple weeks, probably almost 3 weeks now, he's got a little blastomycosis in his left eye. So we can't let him run full blast. So I've been walking the dog,
Oh, nice.
and we've got a nice area near a lake, and it's forested as well. So when I get to a certain point in the walk, I'm praying. I'm doing my prayers and talking to my parents and the whole thing. So, and the nudge, I think, has been to prioritize writing, like my editing that I'm supposed to be doing, and
Yeah.
creating a program. So it's my nudge to get going and doing that. So that's what I do.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. And I want to touch on some of this too, right? Because it doesn't have to be like it could be walking the dog. Like that's something that I do that helps to center and ground me. I like to be in nature. I don't know if anybody saw my post, but after spending a full day in this VIP session that kind of blew my mind, it was like, I want to go to the beach. I couldn't find a beach. So I found this like it was called the Elizabeth Rose or Conservatory and Rose Garden. And I just went and hung out there for like 2.5, 3 hours. And it was hotter than Hades out there because it's humid at the East Coast. So I couldn't stay out much longer than that. But it was like I just needed to center, like ground in with the earth. And I had that availability of time, right? So it could be, I don't know about you, but shower time for me. Like I have to shower every day. I don't wash my hair every day, but I shower every day because I like think it's like I'm connected. It could be why you're like when I go to a stop sign, I'm always like, okay, keep me open to possibility, right? And frankly, I've been in kind of a negative Nelly. I think I've been hanging out with my family a little too long because that's our pattern. And so I've been like, okay, make the switch. Like, where can I stay in gratitude? Right? Like, am I crossing the bridge every day in Sandpoint and reminding myself what a beautiful place I live in, right? And how grateful I am that I live in a place that I can source really good food and organic stuff and eggs and like all this stuff, right? Like, so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about too, that's grounding. Sometimes we think it has to be that we're sitting Indian style oming all the time, right? Like that's part of it, or that can be part of a practice. But does anybody else have one that they're
I'll share. I've been using the YouVersion Bible app this year. I wanted to read the Bible in a year, so I'm doing it on the app. So I've gotten this far where normally I don't make it past, a few books in the Old Testament, but just following that each day and checking in. Plus I do a weekly plan that has like a theme. And my going deeper is to get more into my paper Bible and be studying that. But the app is just something that's convenient and helps me while I have my coffee on the porch and just gets me started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So, some of you were having a nudge, and Chris or Linda or Lisa, did you guys have one you wanted to share? Or?
Oh, since I was been kind enough to, or pleasurable enough to have to go through it. Boy, I can't get the words out today, people. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's usually not typically a problem for me, but since I finished with Linda and all that, my habits are changing. There's a lot more energy, so I'm paying a lot more attention to my current state. I use my ring a lot. Hey, Maverick, what's up, buddy? He's getting big. And so I use my Aura ring a lot, and I look at my results because of what my mom's going through and everything like that. So I'm constantly looking at, not constantly, but once a day I get up, but usually I bring up the app. I go, how was my sleep last night? Where am I today? what do I need to do? And then what's neat about that Aura app is it'll say, hey, you might need some mindfulness or some restfulness. And there's little exercises you can do that you can tap into. Like this morning I did a breathing one. So, just to kind of help, gear the day, balance the day out and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that Aura Ring does have some nice, like almost like the Calm app, some
Mhm.
meditation stuff
Yeah,
too.
I don't like the people that talk in the apps, but I don't like any of their talking, but they do work. So
Somebody asked me the other day if I heard the Matthew McConaughey bedtime stories. That may not get you going, Chris, but all the women were like, ah.
That could be sweet. So, I have
Anything
one.
really quickly though, really quickly, Chris, anything prompting or nudging you for the grounding and centering?
I don't know if I got anything nudging me. I mean, I'm just, my big push right now is just trying to get, the crew pointed in the right direction. We just found out last night at 10:30. I'm sorry not to digress here, but just found out last night at 10:30, one of my key people, her dad died unexpectedly last night. And so she had to, drive over to the coast and whatnot. So just, with my crew, just trying to keep my crew together and stay positive and look forward to the good things that we've got, and plug through the rest of it. So
Okay.
trying to
Linda.
get better, just trying to do one little better thing every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Chris. Linda, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just knew if I
Oh,
didn't ask that, I'd
no,
forget.
no worries. I interrupted you. So, well, I have what I call my heart time every morning. I'm a very early riser, 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning. I love my mornings. And so I have my coffee and a journal. Sometimes I listen to music or a podcast or do some reading, but that's my spiritual connection time, which I really value. And on these summer mornings, I love to have that out on the deck where I can just be outside because I love, love, love nature. And so something that I've had a nudge for some time is to get a personal trainer. I work out regularly, but I get stuck in a rut. So I made the call and I'm going to start next week on Wednesday morning at 5:45.
Are you working with Tara?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
she-
And
I
I've
worked with for a while.
she's at the gym every morning with other clients, and I've been noticing her for like over a year, but it's like I want to get out of I get stuck in a rut. So she's
And
gonna,
that's who Trina was working out with too.
yes, I'm gonna up my game. Looking forward.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Lisa, how about you?
So I walk a lot, but I don't think of that as my grounding time, but it does help me if I'm feeling stressed, getting out and walking is definitely something that helps me. But several months ago I decided to both hot tub or Epsom salt baths help relax me. So instead of getting behind the curve, I want to stay kind of in front of it. So I do that. It's not as regular, but probably about 4 times a week that I do that.
Yeah.
And I would say something that I've been kind of playing with a little bit is breath work and trying to keep that. I'll think about it for a while and then I'll forget. But that's something I want to look into a little more too, because I really do think that helps me
Totally, it does.
personally.
It does. And for those of you that have never done breath work before, it's as simple as like counting to 4, pausing for 4, exhaling for 4, pausing for 4. And it automatically takes, I always get parasympathetic and sympathetic. I think it's your parasympathetic, right? It needs to be stabilized. Am I screwing those up? I always screw those up. Anyway, your fight or flight, right? Like you want to get out of that mode and that can very quickly bring you back into that. That's good. Anything prompting you, or is that your prompt, the breath work? Like the nudge?
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. If I'm feeling overwhelmed or that's just been something that I've been hearing about it. When something has caught your attention, then you hear about it more in different aspects of life. And so that's just been coming up
Yeah,
in different
absolutely.
things I listen to. And
Good. Well, and I would say too, folks, there's other things out there too. Like I've mentioned the scanner to some of you. And so if you basically you just say, I am, and you say your name and you talk for 10 seconds and you send it to me. And eventually I'm going to have Sarah pulling these reports and sending them to you. And it sends you music that basically brings you into that grounded state. I do that every morning, and it came with a red light therapy thing. I used to use these patches, but as a matter of fact, it's in my suitcase. I didn't do it today, but usually I have it on while I'm getting ready and wear that for 20 minutes. So any of those kinds of things too are also things that help you ground and center, right? So just keep in mind that the more you can ground and center, the more then that allows your container to be filled, right, with the unending, not leaning over and pouring out, because that blocks that off, but then people get your overflow, right? And that means physically taking care of ourselves too. You're going to see some things I'm going to start putting out towards the end of the year, because I think we need to take care of ourselves physically too, because your physical and energetic body work together, right? Okay, thank you for sharing that. So the next question I want to ask you is, when you think about that nudge of doing, whether it was journaling, whether it was breath work, whether it was whatever it was for you, what gets in the way? What stops you?
I haven't made it a habit. I don't think about it regularly and it slips my mind.
Okay, so mindfulness.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes I find like on my calendar, it has these like great little things on the end. And boy, I've really got some good habits this month, right? As it's blank. And, like sometimes doing something like that, or I sometimes will take a sticky note and put on my mirror in my bathroom, right? Just because if I'm really busy, like I am right now, because I'm literally traveling more between now and September 22nd than I'm home, I'll put up a sticky note to remind me, or put it in my phone as a task list, right? So that I go through and make sure that, okay, yeah, I'm doing these things to keep myself at this balanced state. So mindfulness is big. Thank you, Lisa. Anything else?
Yeah, honestly, for me, it's because I'm avoiding um, just going a little bit deeper inside. I just don't want to. You know, I'm afraid of what I might find. It's like, do I want to open up that Pandora's box? Because once I do it, I go there, and of course, blah blah blah. It's fine. It's it's the gremlins. It's the whatever. But I miraculously have other things to do at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah, and Christina,
Procrastinate.
thank you for being honest about that, because there's kind of two things, right? There are certain times that I've had too where I'm like, okay, I just need to breathe. So give me a day, please. Like I just need to breathe before something new comes in as a growth edge and a learning. And that intention is very different than the fear, right, of jumping in. And I might offer up, when you think about that container, and I tend to make it like a vase, right? What happens is, I think about it as glass because it's easier for this metaphor, that then when we do those kinds of things, which you know this, Tatina, but when we do those kinds of things, it keeps flicking our vase, that starts a crack, right? And then it starts to drip, and then it starts to go faster, all that energy out of us. And sometimes it is that just leaning in. Sometimes it's not taking a step yet, but just leaning into it, right? Because then when you lean in, you might end up flying or you might end up stepping. So yeah, hats off to you, because yeah, know
Well,
that we are.
but it also speaks to what I think is going to show up, and avoiding that. So, I mean, because sometimes in automatic writing, it's just what comes through is, I love you, you're great, you're wonderful, end of story. That's it,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I always anticipate, this almost this little guilty conscience thing, It's like crossing paths with a policeman and sort of like checking to make sure you didn't do anything wrong type of
Yeah.
feeling.
I love that. So then I think your homework is to do a little bit of grounding when you start to do this automatic writing, to say, I am looking for abundance. I am like setting that mindfulness about what some other things might come up, but shifting that perspective for yourself to say, hey, in all honesty, if the truth be told, more times than not, it's good stuff, good, right? Coming out versus things that I need to dig into, right? Yeah. Awesome. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah, I think I have like this mental double bind thing going on where I feel like unspoken obligations to the house or to my husband or something like that, that I should be taking care of those things first. And then my own writing and editing gets pushed back lower on the priority list.
Yeah, Tara, thank you for sharing that. One of the questions that I like to ask, and I have gotten out of the habit of it a little bit, is it going to matter in 5 years that your house is messy?
Yeah.
And in 5 years, is it going to matter if you edit your stuff and impact people's lives?
Yes.
Absolutely. Right. Now, I'm not saying live in a pigsty, but also I think to your point, and I love that you clarified that and said, I forget the actual word now, it just left me, but kind of like that implied, like you're implying expectations that you take care of everyone else around you before
Right.
you take care of yourself, right?
Right.
I'll never forget having a client that she used to say she was newly married and she's like, okay, but I got to get all this stuff done and I got to be home by 6 o'clock to have dinner on the table for my husband. And I'm like, according to whom? Like, is that his expectation? If it is, no judgment, but have you had that conversation with him? Is he expecting that? Well, no. Okay, well then stop. We have these like storybook things of how we need to show up as a spouse, how we need to show up as a leader, how we need to show up as these things. And many times they are self-implied based on the storybook version. You follow me?
Yes.
Yeah. So ask yourself the question, and what if your husband had to make a sandwich one night?
Oh, he does most of the cooking,
Oh, well,
but it's like
good. And that's
the
not even
the
there.
the cleaning part is kind of landing on me. But
And
what
what would happen if you put this program together and you could frickin' afford somebody to come in and clean your house for you?
I know. I have got something coming up on Saturday. I'm leaving to go to New Orleans for like a 5-day conference for the Fascia Research Society. And I
Yeah.
have my own room. I'm not sharing it with anybody. And I'm going to have space and time to do some editing. So
Nice.
that's good. And then to finish my working contract in California, a day and a half after I get back from that, I'm heading back to California and I'll be out there for 8 or 9 weeks. And then I'm resigning that job and then I'll be home.
So who cleans the house for 8 or 9 weeks?
It doesn't get done.
Okay, well, so don't do it and then hire somebody every 2 months to come in and do a deep clean. I'm just giving you some suggestions.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Because there's an internal message, right, Tara? We're not going to solve
Yeah.
that in the next 2 minutes.
Yes.
There's an
But
internal
it was
message.
funny because I had been in a funk and I'm now coming out of it. But he like told me Sunday night, there's a funny story to that. But anyway, he tells me that he's having an in-house visit Monday morning. And I go, oh yeah, like a health thing. And I'm like, well, what time are they coming? He said between 9 and 12. So, deadline. I got up early Monday morning and I kicked some butt and the house looks really good. And then of course the health person no showed and he canceled the appointment. But sometimes you just need a deadline.
Well, there's truth to that too.
Yep.
And sometimes you just do a little something every day, right? Like that's what I do like about a house cleaner. You walk in and everything's clean all at once versus, and my house cleaner had to quit because her knees were bad and she can't climb 3 flights of stairs. She still cleans my Airbnb. So if anybody knows anybody in Sandpoint, please let me know because I'm like, oh, I can do this. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not doing this. I'm out. Sorry. I'm just
Yeah.
like, no, I need somebody to help me. So if you know somebody, let me know. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Now I want you to think about what are you doing every day to generate revenue and list some of that out. Doesn't mean you have to do the same thing every day, but like what are some things that you're doing in that? For some reason, I keep getting the hit to ask you how your online sales are going.
Online sales are good. They're climbing back up again. We've actually seen, but ironically, over the weekend, I had one of the gals, Laura Gottlieb from our Thursday morning group, sent me a text out of the middle of nowhere, and she goes, "Hey, randomly came across this post. Somebody was asking, hey, I got a friend coming in from Italy and they've never had ranch dressing before. What should I serve them?" And somebody came back up and said Uncle Dan's, which was really cool, completely out of the blue. And then we had another one. Wendy's niece sent her something from TikTok last night. This guy was rating a bunch of ranches, and she goes, "Even though I make my own ranch lots, this is what is almost always in my fridge," which was Uncle Dan's. So the internet marketing stuff is working. It does take time. It does take effort. Usually, sometimes, a lot of times, it's as much as a follow and an influencer, and then they pick you up from the follow. And things like that. So that's constantly going. This is a harder question for me to answer because I don't do this question every day. I have a team for this.
Oh, yes, you do, Mr. Chris. You
So-
just do it, and it looks different because you're leading the team.
Right.
Right.
I'm with the team. It's different. Yeah. It's yeah, you're right. It is different, and it's pushing the team and getting the team to understand, are we going the right way here? Are we looking at this? Are we asking the right questions? Some of the results are months down the road before we actually get to see the reality of that.
And a big thing as a leader too, and this goes for everybody, but that I've seen Chris do really well is empowering your people, right? Like you consistently empower them and you don't do what I call seagull management, is what we used to call it in corporate, where you fly way up here and you empower them and then you drop in and drop a bunch of shit and then pop back out, right?
used to
And
do
it
that.
causes chaos.
Yeah.
And you have really shifted. And so you like part of what you're doing to generate revenue is you care for your team, right? Like even this gal that her dad died, you've got somebody, you called the team probably and said, how can we cover the work, right? And you
Yep.
figured it out and they figured it out for you. And
Yeah, they actually had it figured out before they even got me involved, which is great.
right,
So
which
empowerment.
is in your case, doing nothing is revenue generating. So that's good. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? What are you doing? Just like, you don't have to go into a lot of story, but just kind of what are some top hits that you're doing? Yeah, Tara, jump in.
I'm doing reach outs, but I'm not doing them every day. But kind of when I get an intuitive hit, I'm being open to new possibilities. So my son last night, he saw on Facebook a friend of his was looking for some doTERRA items, and he referred them to me. He let me know. I reached out to her, and I've got a sale today. So
Yeah, nice.
yeah, so and then I'm kind of setting up a plan B. So once I'm done with California and I'm back here, I'm not going to work. I'm going to work minimally in the hospital, as little as I can through the holidays, and then we'll see where I'm at with that. Working my business during that whole time, and then I'm planning a plan B just in case. And I shouldn't do that, I know, but that's just the way I work. I always have to have a plan B.
As long as plan B is not where you always end up.
True.
I mean, because that's literally why, like in the it's not the Science of Getting Rich, but it's Think and Grow Rich. He talks about this army going to an island, and they are
Burn the boats.
right with this, and he tells them, he goes, go out and burn the boats, and they're all like, what do you mean? Like, we can't escape the island. He's like, exactly. You're either going to live here or you're going to die, right? Like, there is no plan B. We're not going to like go off. And so, because when we make a plan B, you tend to go to plan B, because what that says is you don't have the faith or the trust that plan A is going to happen. Doesn't
Right.
mean that you can't pivot in plan A, but
Yeah.
that's why ranges, when all of you work with me and you're like, oh, I want like this many to this many, I'm like, pick a number, because our brain automatically goes to the lower number. Right. So, yeah, good. Anybody else?
I can share because my
Okay.
business is clothing. So I wear the clothes and post photos, just getting to know the product and following up with my previous clients and building relationships with future hostesses. And I know Debbie said, you make more money when you have fun. So just saying yes to invites. One of my clients invited me to a country western concert tonight with 2 of her girlfriends. So it's just an opportunity to meet more people and have fun and grow that way. But these first 6 months of my business, I'm just trying to grow and learn a lot. So I have like the Life Surge business class in Spokane this weekend. I went to Cabby Leadership Forum in Dallas, and then I'm coming to your Cast Your Vision retreat the end of October. So just big learning and growing things I'm looking forward to and investing in myself.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing. Now, I want to share something with you too, because sometimes what I found is that, like, I have a couple of clients in the mastermind that they weren't getting their AR cleaned up. That's revenue generating, like cleaning up your AR, your accounts receivable if somebody's not paying you, right? Like going and following up with that. So I want to share something with you, because how many of you use ChatGPT? Okay. How many of you use it? Like, you can use it. We've been using it to say, okay, we're going to Scotland on this date to this date. We need a medium Airbnb. Here's our budget, blah, blah, blah. Here, make an itinerary, and it pops it out. But what I want to share with you is, before we got on this call, I put in a prompt that, can you all see this? There's so many Zoom little things up on my screen. I said, okay, Willow is the name of my ChatGPT. These are great, but what I'm looking for are things like reach outs, go to social media, blah, blah, blah. Can you give me some really definitive action steps people can do to generate revenue? So it kind of categorized it: client outreach and follow-up, right? So if you're ever in a funk about what can I do, and blocking out some time to do to do revenue generating work, go out and throw it in ChatGPT. And you guys, the more that you go out and use ChatGPT, and the more you can, and I use this little feature right here, and I record my voice instead of typing it in.
Oh, good.
Right? So here you've got client outreach and follow-up, reaching out to 5 past clients, following up with any open proposals, like all of these types of things. Then you've got social media sales actions. Now, I will tell you, I have stuff that I go out there and say, please write a testimonial, write a post with emojis. Like, the more specific you can get it, and you'll learn, because then it'll pop up and ask you questions, right? So some of this works for some of you, but like even Chris, in your business, like going live on social media about Uncle Dan's, it may not be you, it may be somebody on the team, right? To talk about, hey, did you know you can get this from the comfort of your home, order it online? Then this whole idea about networking and relationship building, Jen, I love that. Like, you're being very intentional about saying, I'm going to all of these different things, right? Now, on the scheduled coffee chats, one of the things that I learned in my VIP day is that sometimes when you're saying coffee chat, that doesn't set anything up for action, right? So, and you're going to start seeing some verbiage changes on my end of some things, right? So, like in the Build Her group, for those of you that are in it, this is the last month we're having a coffee chat. The next one is going to be the Build Her network and masterminding, right? Because part of getting people there is to network and learn from each other. So it gives you, like, you can ask peers for a testimonial. I will say, don't ever ask for a testimonial. Ask them if you can do a testimonial for them. Go on to ChatGPT and type in, here's my client's like experience, write a 4-sentence testimonial for a website. And then you send it to them and say, I've kind of captured what we talked about. Are you okay if I use this as a testimonial? Because people hate writing testimonials. How many times have you been asked for a testimonial and it's like a grind to figure out the testimonial? Yeah. So help people out by creating your own and asking them if you can use it. Visibility and education. Like, get yourself on some podcasts. Lisa just did a podcast. Whoop, whoop. Like, host some free training, educate some people. Offer in sales. So it talks about like looking at your sales page, look at how easy it is. One of the things that I'm actually going to do a May retreat on the whole sales process is, when you look at from the time somebody says yes or clicks on something to buy your product to the end, what is that process? And is it easy? Because I'm here to tell you, even I have some that are hard. Like Lisa and I and Tatina and I, this whole thing about giving you guys the sales stuff and it wasn't working. And, like, we try to make things easy, like audit your process. That's revenue generating, because you want to take care of the processes. That's the masculine form to support the clients that you have. And I've been doing some of that, and you're going to see more come of that as well. Simplify your booking process, simplify processes that you have, right? Schedule revenue time. So one of my old coaches, Tatina, had this coach as well. She used to say, I make a date with my money. Like I go on a date with my money, meaning that I set up a time to look at my money, whether that's I'm trying to create budgets around my programs, doing some of those kinds of things. So being mindful and setting up some time to do that, that's revenue generating, because the more I understand my costs about that, I might be able to go out and find people to give some swag, right? Versus purchasing the swag, or it allows me to think creatively. Then get this. Here's what ChatGPT does. It comes back and it says, would you like this turned into a printable checklist or a tracking template for you?
Oh,
And you say yes, and then it does it. I can also go out here and say, please, I'm going to dictate for a second, so hold on. Please create a revenue generating checklist for a CEO of a manufacturing business that manufactures ranch dressing. They have online sales, they sell to wholesale distributors, and he has a team of people. Think. Which SKUs are selling best? You know, some of these are things you already do, Chris, but like I look at this and I'm like, whoa,
that's amazing.
right? Like, oh, reach out to 3 new potential. That's your sales guy. Now, I'm not saying that each of you are going to use every single bit of this, but use this to create efficiency in your time. Now, I'll go out too. Watch this. I'm going to say, create a post and use my brand voice along with Andrea Franco's brand voice and Amira Alvarez's brand voice. Oh, and add some David Nagel in there too, that talks about the importance of manifestation and the universal law of abundance. Now, I just clicked that off my head, right? Because sometimes our verbiage isn't strong enough. So I add other people that I follow in there, and bam, it produces something. Like, here's what it says. It pulls this off there, right? This is not how I would say something, but my God, it's strong. Do you see how this works? Yeah. So when you're thinking about revenue generating, use this tool. If you're afraid of it, just play with it. You know, you can even, I'm not going to lie to you, transparency. I have this problem with saying right. And I have this problem doing, so when I'm doing podcasts, I go out and I actually use ChatGPT to create a script. Then I go in and I change things. I add my own personal stories and I use that. You don't see my eyes because it's like 24, it's like huge on my screen. But I use that then so that I can help myself stay focused on what I'm trying to say. It saves a ton of time. If you're wanting to create a worksheet for somebody as a freebie for a funnel, go out and ask it to do it. And the more that you do it in your voice, then the more it brings in that tone for you. And or if you want to add other people to it, right? There are some things that you can add too. And Meredith, my marketing guru, is great at this too, where if you're and even Chris, as you talk to your marketing person, making sure there's a hook, which is like bringing them in, making sure there's a call to action with a sense of urgency. You can ask ChatGPT to do that and it will create some stuff. Some stuff you'll be like, I don't know. But play around with that a little bit to help you not only create a checklist of revenue generating ideas for you, go in and say, I'm a shamanic teacher. I host a medicine wheel that's this many weeks long, and I do X, Y, and Z, and I work with people privately to help them do X, Y, and Z. Please create a list of things that I can do to create a sense of urgency and generate more revenue in these programs. I mean, at the end of the day, it took 5 seconds to say that. And if I don't like it, I scrap it. Who cares? But it sure took me a heck of a lot less time in 5 seconds and 10 seconds to read what got produced to trash it than it did me scrolling around for an hour trying to figure out what the hell I wanted to say. You follow me? Now, I'm not saying copy and paste exactly what's in ChatGPT. Sometimes it's good and you do want to do that. Other times it's like, oh, I want to add something here. I will tell you, the better you get at your prompts, the less you have to tweak.
Mhm.
I go in and write my own personal stories inside some of the things, right? And some posts I'll say, here's my personal story. Please format it in a Facebook post. Bam, right? So take what you like and leave the rest, but really use that to help you figure out even some revenue generating things for you to do. Now, social media, some of you, social media is a place that works. Others of you, Linda and Chris, social media can also work to help educate. Doesn't mean you have to do it, but getting your team to do some things. But if they have something that ChatGPT has helped to create, because that's what I find. Us as entrepreneurs, we struggle with, how do I say it? And like, where do I go to say this? But if you can use ChatGPT then to say here, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I got this thing. Well, I printed it off now. I don't know what the hell I did with it. Here it is. That every day on my Facebook, you may see a story and I've got verbiage in there, right? We're pushing people to join the Facebook group. So I have a little calendar that Meredith did for me that has what I need to put in each one of those stories every day. I pick out a picture. You're going to see one of Nicole Hugan and I at Wall Drugs here pretty soon. But you know, like every day I just go out and it takes like 5 minutes for me to do that. You can actually go out to ChatGPT and say, please create for me 30 days worth of stories with a hook, with a shift and a call to action. Right? And it will create that for you. And again, there's been times I've changed the verbiage already in 5 days on a little bit of this, right? But the point is it gives you that masculine structure to help you move forward into doing that. Now, I say that to you because a lot of times what I find is that we have visibility issues too, right? We have stories about being visible. This is my sign. You know what this stands for? Bullshit. This gets rid of the bullshit of we don't know what to do or where to go with it. ChatGPT does, right? Then it's about, okay, let's go through the mind shift and figure out what is it about being visible about something that's causing me to stop. Does that make sense? Yeah, it just helps clarify it a little bit. Because realistically, if every day, like as you look at things, we should be looking for ways to save time without getting into a time story, but to save time and disperse our energy in the places that makes the most sense. Right? And the grounding is where we gather energy. The generating revenue, the doing the tasks. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't love putting my mileage in. But hey, I was driving home last night at 12:30 a.m. listening to 80s and 90s. I was like putting whatever I could just to sing to it on the way home, right? Because I was so tired. And I think it was Dirty Dancing came up, right? And I'm like, where was I going with this?
Putting
I
in
know.
your mileage.
Yeah, thank you. And I thought, you know what? I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I'd really like to see it again. Well, I don't have to pay super close attention. So I'm like, cool, there's 90 minutes. I can sit down and do my mileage since January because I haven't done it and watch Dirty Dancing, right? So like utilize some of those types of tasks that don't take a lot of thinking process that you don't necessarily love to also sit on your porch, do something, go sit down on the dock, whatever it is that then also helps fill your energy. Does that make sense to everybody?
Does.
Yeah. Thoughts, comments, questions, something that might be stopping you from doing some revenue generating?
No, actually, the geek in me loves this. um,
Well, I know for me, just putting myself out there, it gets easier, but just the initial putting yourself out there and making things, not making it about you, but, talking about yourself
Mhm.
has been hard to get going. But like I say, it gets easier.
Yeah, and I would say too, Lisa, one of the perspective shifts that helped me was I looked at, okay, I'm sharing what I do, which is a piece of who I am, but I'm doing it because I know I can help all of the 6 of you, right? Like, so what am I doing to then help? What is it that I'm doing in service? That's why a lot of times I'll ask you, like, what are you doing in service? Because when you go out and talk about it, you can say, you know what, I've been working with some women, and even if it's 1 or 2 clients, that, because I know some of you have done some free stuff just to get some like oomph behind you, right? Like, and here's what I see happening. If this is something that happens for you, I'm really good at holding space for people to be able to dig into this, right? That's selling you, but it's showing how it benefits the other person. That's what people want to know.
Mhm.
Like, what's it going to do for them, right? Like, what's in it for them?
I personally get perfectionism gets in the way, and even though I got into a habit of, I do like doing little live videos, and I got used to just doing it. But still, I think what's gotten to me now is like, oh God, I'm just sounding like everybody else. Everybody else is kind of talking about the same kind of stuff, and I just don't want to sound like everybody else, you know. So there's a lot of judgment around that piece.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
cool thing is that you don't sound like everybody else because nobody else is Tatina, right? But it's hard for us sometimes to accept that. And I totally get the perfectionist thing as a recovering perfectionist myself. You know, back in corporate, you had to have the whole package wrapped in pretty wrapping paper and the bow on it before you could even present it, right? Now it's if it's got a brown paper bag that comes with it that you can put in it, that's good. And that is one thing, like if you think about right now, people that you resonate with, that you see online, whether it be on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, it's people that are real. They're not the perfect.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
another way to kind of reframe that, right? Because if your true intention is to connect with people to be able to help them, and that's what I have to go back to. So I fight the 2 wolves, right? Like the 2 sides of myself, and say, okay, my intention is to help people. So, you know, calm down, little troll in the back of my head, right? Like stay over there because this is really my intention. And then the troll comes back a little bit, and then it's like, nope, I'm really in this. And so that's that mindfulness, that grounding piece that I'm talking about, right? Yeah, thank you guys. Great call. Please feel free to share if you have some success with ChatGPT or you want some suggestions on that, don't hesitate to reach out because it is really a great tool.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you guys. Have a fabulous Tuesday and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.
Debbie.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.